Okay, so third lecture in the screencast, and this time we're going to look at a thing called cross-validation, which is really good for measuring how good your model is at prediction. So let's go and look at our lectures. So the key idea here is, what we're going to do is we're going to take our data and we're going to split it into k parts. And for each part, we will take one part aside, take the other parts, fit our model with them parts, and then once we've got our fitted model, we will use it to predict the bit we kept aside. And we can look at the bit we kept aside and we can see how well our model is at predicting that. So this bit we kept aside hasn't been used to create the model, it's used to test the model. So here's my idea. What I've done is each row is my data and I split this one, in this case, into 5 parts. So the first step, I will take this test, put it aside, train my model using all this data. So fit my model, get the best model I can, then take this model, apply it to the test and see how well it is at predicting it. What I can do now is I can go, well, I've already split this data, why don't I take the second part, train a model on the rest of the data, test for that one, and I'm going to do it 5 times, one for each bit that I kept aside. So here's the notation. We're going to label our part C1 up to CK. They don't have to be the same size. So I'm going to let the number of observations in the kth part be NK. So obviously if I add up all the parts, I get the total number of observations I have. And I'm going to measure how good my general procedure is by getting my cross-validation. So it's my cross-validation where I've had K parts. So in my first one, that's 5 parts. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the mean square error for each part, which we'll explain in a second, and I weight it by how much data was in that. So I weight it more for the parts that have more data. So let's see what mean square error is. For each part, what I do is I take the observation in the test, take off what I predict, where I predict using the model, using the training data. I look at the square difference and add up how many and divide by the size. So that's it, that's the mean square error. I put them together and I get a cross-validation error. See you later.